Okay, we're live.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you for those joining in person and online. I'll call the meeting to order at 1:06 p.m. Just a reminder that the board met earlier today in closed session, and it was pursuant to the Community Safety and Policing Act, which came into effect of April 1st of 2024. And the board shall consider whether to close part of the meeting and state by resolution to do so, of which we did, and that is in line with section 44(1)(b) and 44(2) of the CSPA. So thank you for everyone joining in person and online. I think this may be the fullest police board meeting I've had yet. So this is great. We were saying we like the vibe. This is the should be for every meeting. So we'll welcome you to come back. I'd like to begin by acknowledging we do have a pretty full agenda. So there's some important guests that we're going to have various presentations. So it may be a bit longer than normal, but I thank you for all taking time out of your day. The chief will be presenting on his first annual gala, and we look forward to that later on in the meeting. A quick point of reference for everyone as well. The next board meeting has been moved, and it will be on Wednesday, July the 16th. It was originally, we're always on Thursdays, so it's supposed to be July the 17th. But due to scheduling conflicts, we have moved that meeting to the 16th of July. I'll move into any disclosures of interest. Does anyone have a conflict of interest to declare? Seeing none, any introduction of new business? Vice Chair Branscombe.
Thanks, Chair. I'd like to add, there's a nomination required for the Canadian Association of Police Governance. I'd like to add that to the agenda.
Perfect.
So that we can nominate somebody.
Thank you for the seconder. Member Stevenson, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, that's carried. Thank you. Approval of the minutes. The minutes were in your package and been circulated. Motion to move. Thank you, Vice Chair Branscombe. Seconded. Member Walker. Any errors, omissions, corrections, comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? That's carried. Thank you. All right, so we'll get into what is going to start happening more at this board. I think it's very, very important, as do all my colleagues, that as with the governing body of the service, the board is committed to doing business differently. We want to dedicate time to acknowledging the efforts of those who have advanced the goals of our service and contribute to a safer city and to the well-being of our community. The board appreciates every single member and civilian professional of this service for their contributions. And moving forward, we're going to focus on highlighting and recognizing those members who exemplify what the organization stands for. So today, and I know he got brought here begrudgingly, but he is here nonetheless. Detective Gary Brazier has recently been recognized with the Community Hero Award by the Police Association of Ontario for a long-standing record of contributions to the London community, both through his volunteer work and his professional service. His efforts with local organizations have supported families and community initiatives. Many of you might know that Gary's been very involved with Dad's Club London, and he's also done a ton of work within the London Police Service and has contributed, to key investigations to enhance public safety. Him and his team do extremely hard and extremely important and remarkable work in the human trafficking unit, and we thank them for their service. They are a testament to the leaders that we're so proud of in this organization, and they're doing very, very difficult work every day, and we acknowledge that, and we truly appreciate it. We would like to thank him for his contributions to both public safety and to the community of which he serves. And we would like to present him with a certificate. If we could call him up, and I'll read the certificate out. So on behalf of my colleagues, I would like to present Detective Gary Brazier with a certificate of recognition in recognition of your outstanding contributions to the London community, both through your professional dedication and exceptional volunteer service. As a recipient of the Community Hero Award, you exemplify leadership, compassion, and a deep commitment to public service. Thank you. All right, we have another one today as well. This is another one that brings the board. I get to read it, but it's really, I'm speaking on behalf of everyone here, and we're extremely proud of Gary, as well as our next one, Sergeant Travis Winchez. On behalf of the London Police Service Board, I would like to recognize you for your exemplary conduct and instinctive leadership while off duty, which contributed to a safe resolution of a critical incident. Your actions reflect the professionalism, courage, and commitment to public safety that exemplify the values of the London Police Service. And I would like to read an excerpt from a letter that Chief Roskamp of the St. Thomas Police Service sent to Sergeant Winchez, as well as to our Chief Tai Trong. On January 30th, 2025, you were in an off-duty capacity at St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital when a disturbance unexpectedly occurred in the waiting room involving an armed individual experiencing a mental health crisis. You instinctively and immediately reacted with decisiveness to bring calm to the individual prior to the arrival of St. Thomas Police Service members. And this is the chief speaking. I would like to present you with the chief's commendation for your determined action and that assisted in bringing this dangerous situation to a peaceful resolution in St. Thomas. So Sergeant Winchez, if I could call you up, please. I'd like to thank you for everything you do for our community, but apparently also for what you do for our regions. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so we will keep moving along, and we'll move into item number 3 on the agenda, which is the inaugural Chief's Gala report and presentation, which is in your package. And just for a refresher, in January of this year, we held our inaugural Chief's Gala to raise money for 2 local non-for-profits, who the chief will speak more about today. But I will take a brief opportunity before I turn it over to you, Chief, just to say what a overwhelming success this was. When we started, we were looking at 600 to 800 people. We ended up with over 1,200 people. We have many people in the room today that were involved in making sure it's a success. I'm not going to name them all because I will miss someone and then I will feel really bad. So I'd like to thank everyone. And Member Branscombe and I were 2 of the board members that were very involved in this gala. And I can't say enough how proud I was of that night. Of course, we had the premier in attendance. It was a packed house. It was so great to showcase what the London Police Service does, what our members, both sworn and civilian, do day in and day out for the community, and take time to recognize them. Police officers are horrific at taking recognition, I have to say. Like, they get really uncomfortable. They don't want to talk about it. It's just part of the job, and they just go about it. But we believe that it's so important that these heroic acts and these moments of exceptional service are recognized. And that's what this evening was. And this was put in place by our chief. This was done in other places, had never been done in London before, but in his commitment to changing the organization and looking at ways that we can further build community trust, this was just another example of that. So on behalf of the board, I just wanted to note what a great evening it was. We look forward to 2026. And look forward to benefiting more local charities here. But Chief, I'll turn it over to you to talk about how everything shook out and what we'll be able to present today to 2 very incredible charities in both YOU and Canadian Mental Health.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and through you. I'll just sort of remind everybody sort of the essence of the gala. The gala's intended purpose was to recognize our members. We have not been doing a great job with recognizing the great work that our people do. And we're 170 years young this year as a police service. And it's long overdue that we needed to really recognize the work that our people do and recognize our people. They do incredible work each and every day. But these awards for the gala were ones that deserve the recognition. The second sort of perspective of the gala was to celebrate not only our members, but celebrate with our community. As the board knows full well, we've been really prioritizing community in everything that we do. And it's important that the community sees our great members and the great work that they are doing. So, and the third objective of the gala was to raise funds for two incredible charities in our community. So we hit all of that. Before I speak to some of the financials and proceed with the check presentation, I would like to play a video here that captures the essence of that incredible night, and something we should be very proud of. And it's really about the members. And I just want to thank the board chair, vice chair, myself for really leading it from the board level and the leadership level, and all the great people that were involved. Your support was crucial to the success of the gala, and this is something that everyone should be very proud of. So if we can roll the video, I'll continue on. Sure. As you can see, the next date is set for next year. It's going to be the hottest ticket in London. We had two incredible MCs, Devin Peacock that MC'd the VIP party, and the lovely Rita Ismail, who's here, who took
No, wait, this. It's just a coincidence, so.
who took control of the evening, and fantastic job by both of them. So thank you, Rita and Devin Peacock. Before the report that you have before you, Chair, is speaks to the costs and the expenses and ultimately how much money we were able to raise for two organizations that are very near and dear to this community, and two great leaders that are doing incredible and exceptional work who are here today. So I asked the board to accept the report for information purposes. And with that, at this time, I'd like to invite Pam Tobin from Canadian Mental Health Association, Thames Valley, for the formal check presentation. And maybe we'll grab a picture with Pam, and then we'll invite the second incredible leader up to take a picture with us. That's okay.
Me too.
Right. Stand in front of you.
Right here, right in the middle, please. Yeah.
Okay, so drum roll. Pam, I just want to thank you for all that you do in our community and all the great work that your organization is doing. We've spoken many times about community safety, and community safety is not just the responsibility of the London Police Service, it is the community, and your organization is contributing to all of that. So thank you for all your support. Thank you for all that you're doing in the community. And we would like to present you with a check that is a little over $111,000 for all that you are doing.
Thank you so much. This means so much to our organization, and we will be able to do so much in the community and continue our partnership. I have no idea how much I appreciate our partnership, so thank you so much. Thank you.
And I would like to invite the man of the hour here, Steve Cordes from YOU. And before we present him with the check, Steve is retiring. What's your retirement date?
August 15th.
So it's coming up, and Steve has spent many decades in our community, leading at the forefront and doing and pushing incredible work within this community and helping who we feel needs significant amount of help in our community, young people, and all that you are doing. Everybody sees it, Steve. You've had my respect even before I came to London, and true story, when I got announced that I was coming to London, a good friend of mine, Michael Braithwaite, who's an incredible leader in York Region, moving big things, he called me and made sure that I connected with Steve and said Steve is one of the best in the country for what he does. So immense amount of respect for you from me, immense amount of respect from you for you in our organization. All of our people and our leaders think nothing but the best of you and the respect that you so well deserve. And leadership is not easy, as you know, but you've made it look easy. So congratulations on your retirement. And we also want to present you with a little over $111,000 to you and your organization. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And a short, brief, and true story too is this weekend, YOU is having a drag brunch on our cafe on Sunday afternoon. Facebook, we've been having some pretty horrific trolling posted on Facebook because of this. And take it back down and so on. Doesn't quite rise to matters that directly involve police, but reached out to Inspector Testa and just said, it's not really a police matter at this point, but do you have any advice and so on? We just want to make sure that, you know, people experience a safe and an enjoyable experience. Within moments, I had a call back and an email back from Pete saying, we'll try to get there. We'll inform our foot patrol just to be in the area, give us a contact number in case something comes up. And then the next day saying, hey, by the way, if we can be there, we'd love to be there to show our allyship to your organization, to the cause, to the people that will be there and so on. And the story just speaks to the partnerships that we do have with the police services, and particularly under your leadership, Ty. I have been at this for decades, so the service was only 130 years young when I joined. In those 40 years, I've seen so much growth, and hats off to you and what you brought to the team, and how the team and the board and everybody stepped forward, because your presence in the community is just amazing. So thank you so much.
Chair, if I can ask that you or receive the report for information purposes, and just note that I just want to thank our big sponsors, all the sponsors. As you can see, we're gonna show the video on our social media channels so the community can see. And a big shout out to WSIB and Loblaws for really coming through with leading the sponsorship for us. And then, as always, very grateful to the board, but we have an incredible gala committee of our members, and for them dedicating their time and effort in all that they're doing. This was the first one, huge success, but it took a lot of work from all of our members who volunteered. So I just want to thank them, and we're looking forward to next year's. It's going to be a good one too.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Chief. And just before I turn it over to any questions or comments from the members on the report in your package, I did want to say, and you're right, it is a heck of a lot of work, and a special shout out does have to be made to your executive assistant, Samantha Santos, because she, for those who don't know, Sam, the place doesn't fall down because of Sam. So she makes it go around, and Sam and I were trading emails at 2 a.m. on some gala things, and I don't know when she slept. So I just wanted to note that, because it takes a village and it takes a huge team, but Sam was a big part of helping keep that team together, and probably at some points making sure we didn't snap at each other. So thank you for everything you do, Sam, on this and so many different things. And again, before I look for any comments or questions, I just did want to take a moment on behalf of the board, to Pam, to Steve. Thank you for everything you do for our community, and thank you for being partners with the organization. Of course, the board is the governance arm. You deal more on the operational side, but it's clear you're both community champions. You're doing very hard work, but truly important work, and the partnership that you forge with police, which in the public realm can sometimes be difficult to do for organization, is truly appreciated by this board. And I have a bias. I've known Steve a really long time, so I have to take a second just to say congratulations on your remarkable career in our community. Like, if there's anyone who deserves retirement, it's you. And I know Connie's gonna be happy to have you around more. I know you're gonna be able to spend more time at the cottage. So thank you for everything you've done in our community, and for always being, even in the darkest moments and in some of the most difficult moments, always being that positive voice, and that voice at the table to remind people to stay focused on what we're all trying to do, and that's to make a better community for everyone to live. So thank you very much. And I'll look to my colleagues for any questions or comments on the chief's report as presented. Member Ling.
I wasn't gonna weigh in here because, I don't want to add to what's been said, but I feel I have to, because when the chief informed me early on that this was kind of what he wanted to do, okay, that's great. Another fundraiser, fantastic. I didn't appreciate it, Chief. And so I'll get to the point of why I do, obviously. I want to say, first of all, to Chair Goss and Vice Chair Bransco, the amount of work that you guys did, in addition to the chief and his wonderful team, I don't think this would have happened, to be honest with you. To start the first one, is so difficult which I think now it'll be established because it was an overwhelming success. So thank you very much. But I see the chief getting at is what has always been his theme, is policing as part of a community, right? And I think you can see with Ms. Stolman, the wonderful work that you and your organization do in conjunction with the policing. You know, it's part of the community. And Mr. Cordes, obviously, you know, the great job you and you guys do has always been there. But we can't forget that the individual officers, wonderful men and women that work for police organization are part of our community too. And I think that it was important to see that recognition and to see them as people. Like, I found it very emotional when they were honored, but yet we heard their side of the story and impact it has on them and their family and doing the work that a lot of us take for granted. We see the police as police. We don't see them as individual members of our community. And I think what the 1,000+ people were there, plus, you know, the members of police services, board, et cetera, and, you know, distinguished guests, it emphasized we're all in this together to make this a wonderful city, right? And to hear their stories, but then to hear the feedback from the community, those people that were there, I think that was important, that two-way flow. And so now I get it. I get it, Chief, you were right, as always. I get it. So thank you for driving that, and thank you, Vice Chair Branscombe and Chair Doss, for being part of the part, seeing that vision and driving us forward.
Any other comments, questions? Right, well, Chief, was there anything finally you wanted to say before we move on to the next agenda item?
No, that's it, Chair.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We look forward to 2026. And again, anything we can do to continue to forge strong ties with the community are appreciated. So thank you for your leadership on this, Chief. I will move on to item number 4 in your package, communications and correspondence, specifically the correspondence to the City Council Budget Committee, reference document 2506-002. As some of you will remember, at the May meeting, this board considered correspondence from City Council about finding budget efficiencies and having an open dialogue on opportunities for savings and revenue generation. In response, which has been reported in the media and been put on the public agenda of council, the board sent a letter after a considerable amount of work by our finance committee and LPS finance staff to the City Council's Budget Committee, outlining various ways in which LPS is working to find efficiencies. I did want to really take the opportunity to thank the Finance Committee, to take the LPS Finance staff, as well as our Executive Director, for putting together a very comprehensive letter. I sign a lot of these things. I'm like, oh, Ryan's letter. No, like I didn't write the letter. Like I took the work that everyone else had put in and presented it on behalf of the board. So I just want to thank everyone. We are committed, as we've said, time and time again, we are committed to making London a safer city, and we will not compromise that ever. That being said, we also understand the pressures that the community are under. We understand the tax levy. We understand affordability issues in this country. And if there are areas of where we can refer money back or look at opportunities to find savings and refer them back to City Council, we will do that. But I want to just reiterate, never at the expense of public safety. And again, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone to put in a lot of work, and there's still much more work to do on this as well with our finance committee and with LPS staff. So I'll open the floor to any comments, questions. Vice Chair Branscombe.
Just one public service announcement that was brought to my attention. We're the new chair and vice chair, but the presentations are over and people can stay if they like to watch the rest of the afternoon, but they're free to leave. Nobody should have.
Though it is riveting, I know.
So thank you for that reminder, Walker. And I'll just say, as part of the finance committee, go ahead. If I interrupt.
No problem at all. Well, we'll give you a minute. Go ahead, please. No,
I don't know.
very valid point.
I might give you the real one.
So it looks like everyone that's left is pretty well with the organization. All right, back to you.
So no, as part of the new finance committee, I'm grateful to the Chair Stevenson. I think this is was really important for me because I was part of service review when I sat on City Council many years ago, and you know, we've got a good budget. We want great policing, but we also want to continue to find efficiencies both for us internally and to help the city achieve their goals as well. So I'm thrilled to be on this committee, and I'm thrilled to have this first report to start the ball rolling. One of the big things we wanted to do when we asked the city to trust us with this much money was to have that open and transparent back and forth. And this is the first step, or one of many steps that we're working towards that. So I'm really pleased to see this report come forward.
Thank you, Vice Chair Walker. Any other comments or questions from our colleagues? Seeing none, we will receive that, and we will move on to item number 5.1 on your agenda, the inquest recommendation part report 2506 PV03. This report in your package is for information purposes. It contains recommendations as a result of the coroner's inquest following the death of Fabian Hart. Coroner's inquests are held to inform the public about the circumstances of the death in case custody and are not to find fault, blame, or legal wrongdoing. Instead, they are to examine the events and look for lessons learned to improve service delivery to prevent future deaths in similar circumstances. These recommendations are all operational in nature and directed, towards the service. Therefore, no further action is required by this board. But before we move forward, does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, we will receive this and move on to the next item, which is 5.2 in your package, the 2024 London Police Service Annual Report. So I'm going to read through quite a script here, so please bear with me. It's dry, but I do need to get it out. We will be receiving a presentation from the service today about the LPS's 2024 annual report. The annual report serves as a mechanism of public transparency and governance oversight. Under the CSPA, boards are required to file an annual report with the municipality regarding the following. Per section 41-1 of the CSPA, the London Police Service Board is required to file an annual report on or before June 30th of each year regarding A, the implementation of the board's strategic plan and the achievement of performance objectives identified in the strategic plan, B, affairs of the police service, C, the provision of policing as it relates to any community safety and well-being plans adopted by municipalities or First Nations that are in the board's area of policing responsibility, and D, any other prescribed matters. Per section 41-2 of police service, the Police Service Board shall publish the annual report referred to in subsection 1 on the internet in accordance with regulations made by the minister. While the service prepares the operational content for the report, the board is responsible for reviewing the report through a governance lens to ensure it is consistent with its legislative mandate and strategic direction. The board's role in the process is as follows. Review the contents to ensure alignment with the board's strategic priorities, make the report available to the public online, and ensure that the report is submitted in accordance with legislative requirements. Following the presentation by the service, we will have a motion to submit this annual report to the City of London and publish it on our website. So on that note, I will turn it over to Deputy Chief Trina McSween to discuss the 2024 report.
Thank you, through you, Chair Goss. I'd like to invite Inspector Catherine Dan, the corporate support and continuous improvement branch, to the podium. So as Catherine's getting set up, we just want to really thank Catherine and her team. So what you're going to see here today is in line with the modernization that's happening within the four walls of our police service. So the 2024 annual report highlights a year of transformative change and renewed commitment to public safety and organizational modernization. This report, presented for the first time in a fully virtual format, underscores our ongoing dedication to innovation and accessibility. It highlights the significant efforts of our members, both foreign and civilian professionals, reinforcing their commitment to enhanced accountability, community engagement, and the modernization of policing services for a safer city. Over to you, Catherine.
Thank you for clearing out the room for me. So this presentation is going to be fairly brief. I know we have a packed agenda, so I'm going to just go through what the digital annual report looks like, as well as you have the printed version in front of you. So this presentation contains just a fraction of the full contents of both the digital report as well as the printed version, but I'll just highlight kind of the layout of the report this year and what's contained within. So I'll start this brief video. I did want to attempt to log on to this live at the meeting, so I just, this video will show you what the digital version of the report looks like. So this is the landing page that you come to when you access the report. And the reason why we wanted to go with the digital report this year is that it makes it more convenient, we think, for the larger population to access and read the content. Not everybody wants to download a lengthy PDF version of the report. The digital version was also created to be viewed on mobile devices such as smartphones, so that it's readily available, as I said, to everybody and easy to view. So you can see that the report is broken down into various sections, and as you browse the landing page, you can click on these sections to access specific information about these topics. And then as it reaches the bottom, you have the option to download the full report that you see in front of you. And then we have the menu at the top of the digital version as well that the public can use to select the topics that they're interested in, and that will take them to those specific areas to read the content. All right, so as with most of our annual reports, we start with our mission, vision, and values. Chief Trung brought a modernized approach to our leadership model in 2024, including the addition of the third deputy chief, as well as updated vision and values that align with who we are and how we serve our community. And you will see that the 2024 annual report is organized by the deputy chief portfolios this year, and I will explain that shortly. As with past annual report, key metrics from 2024 will be reported to show how these numbers reflect the service's performance and community impact. So the 2024 annual report, as I stated, is organized by the 3 deputy chief portfolios: community safety and specialized investigations under Deputy Chief Bastine, community trust and frontline operations under Deputy Chief Guilford, and organizational wellness and performance under Deputy Chief McSween. The first section is community safety and specialized investigations. It highlights various aspects such as crime trends, clearance rates, and victim support initiatives. Understanding these elements is vital to grasping how the LPS addresses crime and supports victims. This is one example of what is contained within this section. So here we present the total number of criminal offenses that were reported in London in 2024. This figure provides a snapshot of the crime landscape in the city, and it's essential to consider these numbers when evaluating broader community safety efforts and the effectiveness of our policing strategies. Also under this section, we talk about our work with community partners. We're very proud to work with our community partners on various initiatives to support victims of crime. Some examples that are highlighted this year are the Beacon House Child and Youth Advocacy Center, the Victim Support Initiative, and our Crisis Intervention and Victim Services teams. Also under this section is specialized initiatives. One example that we discussed this year is the newly launched technological crime section that was created in 2024. This section brings together 4 specialized teams to tackle complex technology-related crimes. And this new section reflects our understanding of the evolving nature of crime in the digital age and the need for these specialized teams to tackle this type of crime. Then we move on to community trust and frontline operations. This section highlights initiatives that enhance emergency response and accessibility and provide supports to individuals at risk. It also provides information about how we address community identified safety concerns and how we strengthen community connections through engagement. An example of enhancing emergency response and accessibility is our Special Constable program that was launched in 2024. The Special Constable program has strengthened frontline services and improved community connections. The responsibilities that are outlined on the slide demonstrate a proactive approach to policing, focusing on visibility and engagement with the community, which is essential for fostering trust and safety. Road safety remains a significant concern for Londoners every year. The annual report outlines the strategies we implemented to enhance road safety, including targeted enforcement and collaboration with regional partners. In 2024, we had a 45% decrease in traffic fatalities, supporting the effectiveness of these measures and our ongoing commitment to making our roads safer. In 2024, we had a record level of community interactions. Our member participation in community events is showcased through a series of photographs that are contained within the report. The impressive number of interactions reflects a strong commitment to building relationships and trust with Londoners and is vital to understanding community needs. Finally, we have organizational wellness and performance metrics. The section highlights key areas such as calls for service, response times, and police performance. These metrics are essential for evaluating the effectiveness of our policing strategies and ensuring accountability within the organization. Each year we report on our response times, and for the first time since 2020, we had a decrease in all of our priority levels. It's important to note that we use the 90th percentile in our reporting, so that means that 9 out of 10 times an officer will arrive within this time frame. And we're optimistic that these figures will continue to decline as our staffing levels increase and our initiatives to modernize the police service yield positive results. And this is our slide about the volume of dispatch calls. So I'll just explain what that means in terms of the numbers. So in 2024, we received a total of over 89,000 calls for service. When someone requires police assistance, a call for service is generated and placed into a queue based on the urgency of the situation. So these calls can come through contacting 911, the non-emergency number, or can be generated by an officer who comes across an incident. Once we receive the call for service and put it in the queue, we then determine whether a uniformed patrol officer needs to be dispatched or if the situation can be investigated or resolved over the phone or through an online report. So out of the over 89,000 calls, uniformed patrol officers were dispatched to attend a total of 54,434 calls. This number helps us calculate the average accumulated time per call, which you can see has slightly increased over the years. And finally, under this section, we also have modernizing policing. So in this section, we provide information about the digital evidence management system. This is a significant advancement for our police service. The phased rollout of the system represents a modern approach to managing digital evidence. And once fully implemented, DEMS will support body-worn cameras, in-car cameras with automatic license plate readers, interview room cameras, and mobile electronic notes. So thank you for your attention. And once we receive permission to publish the report, the link to the online digital version will be live.
So before I go into the questions from members, did you have anything you want to add?
No, I just once again, this has been a labor of love for Dan and her team. And I'm so delighted with the results, and I really want to recognize her team to work as well. So thank you, Dee, for modernizing the annual report, because as I said, it's just in line with everything that we're doing. So thank you very much.
Colleagues, I'll open the floor. Any questions on the annual report?
I don't have a question, but I do want to acknowledge the work that you've put into this. It's really so clear and it's so current. And it covers so much. And I think we need that. And I really appreciate the way that you've developed this. And I'm very grateful to you for doing that, you and your team. It's nice to see you here today outside of your former role, although I have to say that you're really missed in that role.
Thank you.
So, but thank you for all you do. And this is just brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Seeing no other comments, we will relieve you from the podium. But I will echo what member Walker said. Thank you very, very much. And I have to say that how you presented it online especially is quite impressive. I think the fact that you've thought about mobile phones, that how it was presented, this is what we want. We want people to feel as though they can navigate this, that it's not too heavy, that people feel intimidated by an annual report, which can be a very intimidating document to people who deal with this day in and day out even. So this really hit the mark. So thank you, because there's a ton of work that goes into that. And we've always, so thank you very much. So board, I'll turn to you. In your cover memo, you will see that there is a recommendation on a motion, and I see a mover. I'll read it out and then I'll ask for the mover and the seconder. That the board submit the attached annual report to the City of London following the June board meeting and before the June 30th, 2025 deadline. And that per the legislative requirements, the report be published on the London Police Service Board website. Is moved by Vice Chair Branscombe, seconded by Member Lehman.
Could you read that just one more time?
Yeah, absolutely can. That the board submit the attached annual report to the City of London following the June board meeting and before the June 30th, 2025 deadline. And that per the legislative requirements, the report be published on the London Police Service Board website.
Yes, so does that happen right away?
Yes.
It'll happen right after the meeting.
Yeah, perfect. That's, sorry, I misunderstood that, and I thought at first we were gonna have to wait, but here
Oh,
it
no.
is out already. Okay,
It'll go on the LPS
yeah,
website as well.
perfect.
So
Thank
we'll-
you so much.
So moved by Vice Chair Branscombe, seconded by Member Lehman. Is there any further questions or comments on this report? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? That's carried.
Thanks again, that was really.
Thank you very much. All right, we will move on to item 5.3 in your agenda, the government.
No, no.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. I'm sorry, I thought I missed something. 5.3, the government's roadmap mid-year report back, 2506 PPO1. And I'll turn it over to our executive director to speak on her mid-year report back on the 2025 governance roadmap specifically for the board.
Yes, so report on governance, everybody. So back in December of 2024, I provided a presentation sort of as a roadmap for the year ahead of what this board was wanting to achieve in terms of, hitting its governance and accessibility and transparency targets. And as part of being transparent and accountable, it's obviously very important to not just say you're going to do things, but actually do them and then show how you're doing with them and how you're getting there. So this report, it is a little bit lengthy and dry, I will admit, but it is just to sort of provide an update to the public, to the board on where we stand with sort of the 4 key objectives that were identified in this presentation. So the first one was to establish a board identity, sort of delineated and separated from that of the service, so that, the board's, visual identity and identity of what they do and how it relates to the service is a bit more understood. The second one is enhance the governance framework of the board. The third one was communications and transparency. And the fourth one was ensure legislative compliance. So before I start on the others, by ensure legislative compliance, the CSPA came into effect on April 1st of last year. So currently all boards across Ontario are working towards legislative compliance in terms of, meeting these new enhanced requirements when it comes to policy and the strategic plan and the annual reporting and the diversity report. So I won't go through every point, but I'll just quickly summarize. So establish a board identity. So as you may have noticed, the board has now its own separate logo, which is separate from that of the service. It is reflective of the service. It does have the LPS splash in it, surrounded by the board with 7 trillium flowers to represent each board member. We are launching a website as of today, so I'll show that in my verbal update. I'll give a bit of an overview of that. So that's just to have a hub for the board itself, for us to share board and governance related updates, board reports, board policy, all that kind of stuff. We've relocated our offices to just across the way over there, so it's a little bit more front facing for the membership to have access to us and for the public and whatnot. Governance framework, there's a lot of work going on for that. The board has established a governance committee. There was a foundational governance workshop for the board, focusing on legislative responsibility, strategic oversight, and best practices in police governance. There was a presentation at the OAPSB, so that's Ontario Association of Police Service Boards Conference, that was presented by the chair and the chief. And it was sort of in terms of how
public safety was being improved as a result of sort of governance decisions at the top that created leadership alignment. There was an organizational review as part of an ongoing governance commitments to enhance service delivery, identify financial efficiencies, and align resources with core public safety priorities. Strengthening communications and transparency, the website is also part of that. Once we have that in place and up and running, as of today, there's going to be a bit more of an enhanced communication strategy with the public from the board in terms of sharing board-specific initiatives and also supporting the work that the service does from a board perspective. Ensuring legislative compliance, this is a big one for all boards, and we're all working towards this. You know, there's new expectations to what should be included in strategic plans. There's a requirement for a board diversity plan, which we're also going to be working on and discussing publicly at the next meeting. The progress on that and sort of how we can involve the community in that work there. The annual report that you just saw, that now is reflective of the strategic plan, and also the policy review. So currently, the governance manual, it's being drafted and reviewed. There's also a review going on about organizational policies, and you know, this is a long process. And as a first step, it's sort of identifying some of those critical policies that we need to address sooner rather than later. So the initiatives outlined in this report reflect a deliberate and strategic effort to build the foundational framework required for accountable and effective police governance. And as the board continues its work through 2025, all key objectives remain on track. And then I will continue to update everybody, probably through the website. So any questions?
Take my job now. Any questions, board members?
Thanks.
Yes, so did you want to pull up the website?
Oh, I was gonna do it during my verbal update, but I could do it.
Why don't we do it? Is it all right to do it now? And then we'll do now. We have them in here. Right, curveball.
Yeah, so essentially the purpose of this website is to be an information hub on board-related activities, board-related work. It's also designed to be a way for the membership or the community to be able to reach the board and make us a little bit more accessible. Shouldn't take long. And it's www.lpsb.ca. Okay.
There you go.
All right, so I won't go through the whole thing. I know everybody here can probably, there we go. Yeah, so this is the front page. The front page here is sort of designed to have everything that you would want on a first glance anyway, so that you don't actually have to go through the entire website if you're looking for things like contacting us, policies, complaints, sort of information on the board's governance mandate. Current meeting, you can watch the latest meeting, watch previous meetings. These are sort of from our news and announcement update section about us. And then also a link, obviously, to the Land Police Service website, because, you know, we'd like to send people there who want to go there quickly. There's a lot of information here. One thing about this website is I want to make it very easy for people to contact us. So there's contact us here, there's contact us up at the corner, there's contact us at the bottom, and it's just one click and takes you to a form that you can fill out and reach either Melanie or I. There is an FAQ section down here that sort of answers a lot of questions that over the years I've been answering in my role. You know, general information, meetings and decisions, community and public engagement, complaints and oversight, budget and policy, becoming a board member, and how much work it is, and the time commitment is down here. Careers and volunteering, all that kind of stuff. There is a meet the board and staff. If you click here, this will be information on each of the board members. We've got a meet the chief section. I know everybody knows who he is, but if you want to read, a bit more and look at this lovely photo, then you can come here and learn a bit more about the chief. Public complaints. So it shows you, you know, with the new legislation, there are new ways of making complaints and new mechanisms. So this kind of explains where to go if you're making a complaint about misconduct versus if you want to make one about either, you know, service or board membership. Careers, volunteering, public complaints, governance, my favorite. So governance section, this explains for those of you who really want to know more. We do have an impending governance manual, explains a bit more about that. Police oversight in Ontario, some people might not quite know all the various layers of police oversight that exist. It goes above and beyond just police boards and the legislation and Inspector General, the associations, including, you know, our partnerships with the LPA, the Ontario Association of Police Service Boards, Accountability and reporting, this one's very important as well. There are legislative requirements to post certain things online, such as the annual report. So if you go here, you'll be able to find links to, the strategic plan. You can click on their annual report for the last few years. When we do have a diversity plan, it will be here. Budget transparency. This is the mandatory reporting here. So use of force, missing persons, so that's all covered. Special reports here in terms of things that have just come up that don't exactly fall in a specific category, but are very interesting and informative for people to see. Performance metrics as well, which is, the board's role is oversight and monitoring performance. I'm almost done. A community page speaks to sort of consultations and what we always want, engagement with, and if you'd like to pass a message along, scholarship awards. Community engagement report, which has come forward at a previous board meeting, but that has a lot of information about what the LPS does for the community and with the community. The news section, the latest news. So there's 3 categories. First one is media releases. So those are the releases that we've directly put out through the media. The second one is board updates. So like we're launching our new website, the correspondence that we had come forward today. So those are just kind of quick links to things that are going on. And then articles that are written about a bit more meatier issues like the Chief's Gala or the 30 by 30 initiative of the LPS or the board's role in addressing women and gender-based violence. So they're just a bit more blog style articles on some of the work that's going on. So this is obviously a work in progress. There may be flaws likely, who knows, on this website. Definitely feel free to provide your input or email us and let us know what can be improved upon. There we go.
Thank you. Sure. Colleagues, any comments or questions?
Yeah, very exciting.
I'll just say before we move on, thank you very, very much. It's been a lot of work getting all this started and really kind of having that different identity that we spoke of. We promised it since the beginning, since we had conversations about the budget, since we added another deputy chief of police, since we've made changes to the organization, that we were committed to transparency. And this is a big part of it. And the other big thing is also education. A lot of people don't know what a police service board does. I can't say I blame them. It's not exactly riveting, but it is extremely important in the governance world, especially in the policing world as well. So we see it as a big need to make sure that we educate not only the public, but that we also educate our members, both sworn and civilian, about what we do and about what the board is about. And I did want to note that it's very important also to give credit to the chief, because he's also taken a leading role in making sure that he can help people understand how the operational side and the governance side work together for a common purpose of, providing adequate and safe policing to the community. So on that, yes, Member Walker.
I just want to say I'm really in awe as somebody that doesn't understand technology very well.
I didn't make it, I just.
I know, but to put that together is really.
Just the concept of actually.
No, thank you so much for doing this. I think it's really great.
I had a lot of help too, so.
Excellent.
Yes, of course. Mel. Thanks, Mel.
Thank you. So seeing no other comments, I'll move on to item number 6 in your agenda, under the finance category, and is the LPS Asset Management Plan Review Report 2506 FF01, and I will turn it over to Deputy Chief of Sween.
Thank you, and through you, Chair, I'd just like to call Director Graham to the, at the podium, but to the front here to give it, if the board has any questions with regards to this report. So the report provides a status update on the London Police Service Asset Management Plan. The previously identified 94.5 million infrastructure gap has been fully addressed through the 2024 to 2027 multi-year budget. This ensures continued investment in facilities and equipment that are essential for public safety with no current shortfall identified. The review fulfills on our annual reporting requirement under Ontario Regulation 588/17. With support from the city's corporate asset management team, LPS has maintained a compliant plan that aligns with legislative requirements. The city has also prepared a 2025 corporate asset management plan progress review, which includes LPS as part of the broader review of agencies, board, and commissions. That report is attached for reference to the board report in your packages. Looking ahead, the next full comprehensive update to the asset management plan is scheduled for 2027, which will inform the 2028 to 2031 multi-year budget. Probably just right on the corner. Can't wait for that. I'm gonna be. LPS remains on track with asset management objectives and continues to work closely with the city to ensure long-term sustainability and regulatory compliance. Pending any questions, it's recommended that the board receive this report for your information.
Thank you. Director Graham, anything that you wanted to comment?
She covered it all.
But back up.
Very good. Colleagues? Seeing none, that was the quickest visit. So we will receive that. Thank you. Moving on to item number 7, which falls under uniform division of your agenda, the hate and bias motivating crime report 2506 UD01. Go for it. I'll turn to you.
Thank you, and Chair, through you. Y'all have before you the hate bias motivated crime report. First of all, I want to give thanks to our business analytics unit, who is responsible for getting all the stats, and this is a very stat heavy board report. And then for Constable Umar Syed, who is our hate crime officer, who was able to take those numbers and get it into the report that you see before you today. So I think he's done a very good job. And another thing that I want to note that
Is Umar here today?
yes, he is. He's
Umar,
stand up, yeah.
come on, go ahead. Take a seat.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to reiterate, it's mentioned in the report, but these are reported incidents to the police, right? It doesn't give a true indication of what's going on in our community. We can only report what we know. But that's where the great work from Umar and from our diversity and outreach unit, which Sergeant Zabian is here. Their work in the community is vital to even getting the numbers that we have today. But I just wanted to focus on that, and reporting will actually come up at the end of my little talk here. So reported to us in 2024, there were 177 occurrences. Those are broken down into hate crimes and hate incidents. First of all, the 177 number, that is a slight decrease over 2023 numbers, but still obviously not where we want to be. It's a 7.8% decrease over 2020. As those are broken down, and that's broken down on one of the graphs on page 5, you see where it's 109 hate crimes that were reported to us and 68 hate incidents. So again, both a little bit lower than the previous year. And you can see as well, like compared to 2020, not great at all. Different time that we lived in then, but again, in the circumstances around the world in 2023, I think really shot these numbers up, and again through other things that are going on. But it's something that we are alive to and are obviously concerned about with our community. So again, we want to make sure that we break down any barriers that there are to reporting to us any incidents that come up, and any incidents that we do receive, we take very seriously and investigate to our fullest whenever we become aware of them. So again, the hate crimes reported this year compared to 2022 is a just over 36% rise in hate crimes reported to us. When we get to the bottom of page 5, we have it broken down into targeted groups. So we include different ethnic groups, we include different religious groups, based on sexual orientation. So in here you have the top 5. The darker blue line indicates the number of incidents targeted for 2 of those top 5 groups. Of those 5 groups, the largest increase in reported incidents to us with our Middle Eastern community, and that is over a 92% increase with that community here in Lubbock. Moving on to charges that are laid. So we were able to lay charges in 27.5% of the hate crime occurrences that we became aware of. There's a lot of those that obviously we haven't been able to lay charges on. A lot of that are graffiti incidents, property damages, where it's been identified as a hate crime out in the community, but just where we may not have video evidence or may not have anybody who's even seen the incident, where we're not able to proceed further with any type of charge. And then just for occurrences where charges are laid. In those cases, over 86% of the offenders are male and over 80% of the offenders are white. So again, that's good information for us to have when we're talking about education and getting out into the community, into those areas, and trying to get the message out that these type of incidents cannot and will not be tolerated, and behaviors and attitudes have to change, and we have to try to just bring the intensity down just a little bit in our community. Just with that, now I want to get back to the reporting. So later this year, we are going to be having an online reporting system in place for members of our community to make it easier for them to report. We still see that a lot of newcomers to Canada are not trusting of the police. We do, again, our team works very hard to try to break down those barriers. But if we can, this seems this to us is a step further to make it easier for them to report, so they can report these incidents from happening again, so we can have a truer indication of what's going on out in the community. And with that, I just want to prepare this board that I foresee where it's easier and for people to report that these numbers are likely to go up next year. So that's just to prepare everybody for that. And that is a report. So is there any questions? I see you received this report for information purposes. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Guilford and Constable Said. Thank you very much for your work on this. It's a comprehensive report, and there's a lot of detail of troubling things in this report, and very pointed observation, Deputy Chief, on the fact that these numbers will likely rise with the different approach to collecting data from the public and on these occurrences. So thank you for bringing that forward. So I'll look to my colleagues for any questions or comments, and I'll go to Member Walker first.
Thank you, Chair. Am I correct in pronouncing your name as Officer Saida?
It's actually Syed, S-Y-E-D.
Okay, just a minute.
That's my last name.
So Officer Syed?
Syed.
Syed.
Syed, yes.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't want to screw that up. So a couple of things. When I first joined the board, which was 4 years ago, I guess, there was zero hate crime offenses in this community, as there were across the whole nation. It was rare to have a hate crime related incident proceed through the courts. And there were lots of reasons at the time we were given, including so hard to actually capture the evidence, and Crowns are hesitant to prosecute, and all those sorts of things. So what has changed? Like, what has changed in those 4 years that we're now seeing, numbers of people charged with these offenses?
Deputy Chief.
Oh, sorry, I should.
No, that's no problem.
And I'm gonna actually.
I didn't defer.
So I've only been in the role for just over 6 months now. But from the education I've received on the topic, and I'm regularly attending conferences around the province related to the hate crime space. So one thing right off the hop, it is an ever evolving space. You're right, there's a lot of renewed attention to this issue. So everything from the investigative processes to reporting to data collection, disclosure of that data, everything's evolving and it's very new. So it's not that it wasn't happening before, it's just now there's a renewed attention to this type of thing. And I think now, over the past few years, because it's directly related to other even more serious subjects like extremism, violent extremism, things like this, the focus on hate crime at the front line, like the stuff that we're dealing with as a hate crime unit, is shifting because we need to collect more data on things that may lead to things like extremism. So that's why the reporting numbers and everything, you're seeing them go up. And then a big portion of that is the community outreach. Like you mentioned, like 4 or 5 years ago, people may not have been so switched on to the whole hate space, hate or bias related things. And now with community outreach and education, and then lots and lots of worldwide events that are leading to more hate and bias, people are more aware of, okay, this is an issue that needs to be addressed within communities. And then obviously it leads to policing because crimes get committed. And then we also draw a distinction between a crime and an incident.
Right, yeah.
And then the question comes up then, well, why are we recording incidents that have nothing to do with criminality? Because it allows us to gather intel on things like trends and patterns and issues in the community. And if, say, an extremism issue comes up, then it allows us to shed light on, okay, well, this is the issue we're seeing in the community, which is why maybe this extremist view is popping up now. So those are the reasons that I've personally been seeing that, why
That's good information. I wanted to ask as well, have you tested any of these charges through the courts? And if so, were they successful?
So
I know there's one, the big London case that was definitely successful, but of others, has there been success?
So within our jurisdiction, I can't speak to any that I'm familiar with. Because most of the hate crime incidents, so like the crime itself would be, like the actual crime might be something very minor in nature, like an assault. So it might not get as much attention through the court system. So I'm not sure I can speak to that. However, I know in other jurisdictions, there have been lots of cases that have been tested. And there are a lot of cases that are constantly going through the court system, and that's why it is an evolving space. So a lot of cases we deal with, we have to consult with other jurisdictions. Yeah, how did you guys manage this, and how does this turn out, and stuff like that. So.
And Member Walker, just before you go on, was there anything you wanted to add there, Deputy, on that?
Just about that, it's, and Chair through you, we have to remember as well, like, for hate designations for offenses, it's an aggravating a set of circumstances that show up for sentencing,
Right.
right? So
Can you
Yeah.
unpack that just, what do you mean by aggregate? Just for people who don't necessarily quite understand.
so with, if somebody commits an assault, right, then that offense has been committed, but an aggravating factor in that for sentencing would be if there was any type of racial slur or anything that goes along with that. So when you go to trial, you are still tried on the facts in issue for an assault. And if you're found guilty, then for sentencing, that can be an aggravating factor for an increased sentence.
Walker?
I just have one last question, if I may. I'm looking now at the victim offender gender patterns, which I find really interesting. And it says here, I can just tell you, I'm not going to go in depth with you. It's not a test. It says that the most frequent pairing was male victim with male offender. So I'm very familiar with that. And then it says the second sort of most frequent or equally is female victims with male offenders, which accounted for 20%. So I'm also familiar with that. So it's interesting to me. And my question is, how many men who fit in this category actually are charged with assaulting or whatever women, females, and that proceeds to the court with success? Do you know that? Am I making any sense with that? No, I'm not, am I? Okay, let me try it one more time. I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize.
So,
Good, right?
yeah, so how many female victims with male offenders who are part of this report have been charged with hate-related crimes? And how successful were they through the courts, if you know?
Well, for 2024, I wouldn't know because a lot of those cases haven't made it through the court system yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
but
there were charges?
charges, yes. With the charges, those are just based on the available evidence in so if we have enough sufficient evidence to proceed to the court system and like there's reasonable grounds to lay the charge, we will, for at least for the hate crime, any hate crime related issue, we'll seek out charges 100% of the time unless the victim.
Yes, of course.
Not.
So that is a great segue into what I have been advocating for a long time, which is to legislate femicide. And why I think that's a great segue in is that we now have this evidence that female victims with male offenders accounted for 20%. And I think if we had additional information to carry on from there, we would see that many of those women are at risk of femicide and or will be in the future. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely, yes. And then, yeah, I'm just wondering though, would that be in relation to females being like an identifiable group of women or?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I think so.
right.
That's what I'm thinking, but I may be wrong.
I understand what you mean. I think right now, for the data we have for 2024 and previous to that 2023, I don't know if we have anything that would necessarily support femicide as being a distinct issue with those female or with any female involvement in these cases, because a lot of the female victims in the hate related cases, it might just be that like them being female may have not had anything to do with the crime or the incident. It might have been like, maybe they were like wearing a hijab or maybe and then, yeah, they just happened to be female.
Right, I understand. But for those women who do fit the criteria, could it be extended in any way so that femicide would be a part of that? I mean, I guess ultimately what I want to know is if we are dealing with women who are killed, who are at risk of being killed by men, particularly men that they know, are they ever going to be considered, because women are a large group who are often victims of significant crimes, are we ever going to be at a place where those could be considered hate-related crimes?
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna step in there. I'm just gonna direct that question to the deputy.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, and Chair, through you. Yes, we can get there, and this is one where we obviously haven't had any that meet that criteria for this report. But if we did have anything that meets that criteria, it would end up being specified.
Well, that's encouraging. And do you have criteria that includes women then, as outlined in this report, or as victims that could potentially meet that criteria?
We have our females that are victims, yes. So then we would look at those
Yeah.
specific
I know.
circumstances.
Sorry, just before you go on, the chief just wanted to make a comment, so.
I'm
Sorry, the people,
grateful
you
for the comment.
want to finish on your point there? Perfect. So chief, over to you.
Yeah, sorry.
Perhaps I can assist Chair through you. So
Oh, I appreciate it.
if I could assist, when we're looking at, there's no actual offense for hate crime in the criminal code. There are criminal offenses that are committed where it's hate motivated.
Yes, that's what I should.
So for, there's a lot of information. tossed around. I'm just trying- No, don't apologize. So when you're looking at hate crimes, the hate crime report, there's a couple of things here from an organizational perspective that I will look at and that we are looking at. So for the record, to be clear, 4 years ago, there was hate crimes and there was hate incidences. You probably weren't made aware, Member Walker.
Could I just say it actually came from your team back then, telling me that information, but
Yeah,
anyway, it's
that's,
okay.
well, that would be incorrect.
Okay,
If
thank
you were given that information, that's incorrect,
Okay.
because in 2020, there were incidences that are recorded here where there were 44 incidents of hate crime in London in 2020.
Okay.
So you received inaccurate information if that's indeed what you received. So the trend that we're looking at here is in 2020, there was 44 hate incidents, so criminal offenses that were motivated by hate. What we would look at is the significant rise. So last year, so the report that Deputy Guilford has presented to the board was for the statistics of all of last year. Now, if you compare last year to 2023, you actually see a decline in hate incidents and hate motivated crime. And one would say that's great. Hate crimes is reducing. But if we look at it from a larger scale, I would be comparing 2020, we're looking at well over 100% increase, which is a concern for the past 5 years. So that's a trend that is something that we actually need to look at. And then when we look at what do those hate crimes, what makes up those hate crimes? So typically in these statistics, the hate crimes are typically divided into 3 ways. Is it an offense committed against an individual or group based on appearance or ethnicity? Yes, that's typically what we're seeing. The second category of what we're seeing is offenses committed against a particular group based on religion. And then you have sexual orientation. Those are the typical, the 3 that we are saying. Where you're proceeding is, do we have any hate crimes committed against females based on they're being committed against females because of their gender?
Yeah.
And the law permits that within the criminal code. Absolutely, that would be considered one of the concerns of a hate motivated crime. We don't have any specifically based on gender that I'm aware of that is captured in any of these reports. Now, this report is very important because if we do get them, we have to record them, which would help and support what you're saying about femicide, which femicide is a very big concern. So if we look at femicide from a greater societal perspective, is that women are more likely at risk and more likely to die at the hands of men. And if you look at femicide from that perspective, that is 100% a concern. We see that in gender-based violence. We see that. So we will capture that if we get cases where a criminal offense has occurred against a victim, not because of the victim's ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation. We want to capture because of their gender, and that's what you want. You want that guy.
I really appreciate that. And I'm very sorry too. Sometimes I have an idea and it's hard for me to get from my head into verbally asking the question. So thank you for your patience with me. And at the end of the day, thank you both because I appreciate this very much. And I'm going to use it in some speaking engagements I have, and I'll make sure that I use it properly.
And Chair, through your question, just
Yeah, of course.
that is something that we're very attuned to. Any time if we have an actual criminal offense that has occurred based on the gender of that individual, will be flagged with that, because that's something that has been you've raised for the last little while, Member Walker. We're very attuned to that, and it's very important. And I will say, although this is a concerning trend for us, this is a trend you're seeing provincially and nationally. And if you look at October 7th, 2023 of what happened in the Middle East, you see an increase in all of hate crimes across the board. So that's a concerning piece for us. The deputy chief mentioned online reporting, and I just take a moment to speak to the how this occurred and the importance of community working with police to solve issues and achieve community safety and well-being. Well, this came to light because of our relationships with the Jewish community, relationships with the Muslim community, where we got together, and there's great work that Constable Saeed is doing, and Sergeant Xavier and everybody under Inspector Testa's command. This has been going on for a long time. So because of the relationships that have been built and the relationships that continue to be formed, we're able to sit down with our community and marginalized groups to hear how they feel when a hate motivated incident or a hate crime has been committed. And as we got together, one of the recommendations was there's a barrier to reporting. We all know that. Some communities feel very hesitant to come and report to police. So although these numbers are concerning to us, one way to look at it is that trust is being built in the community for individuals and groups to come and feel safe to report. But we are launching, and we hope likely by the end of this year to have an online platform to report hate motivated incidents and hate crimes. That came because we were listening to the community, and we understand that because we didn't have that, there's some members of the community that feel more comfortable reporting online than coming into the police. So that is one barrier we recognize and that we're trying to address. So that just speaks to the great work that our people are doing.
I
So
agree.
just for
I didn't want
context.
to question the great work. I know it's great work and I appreciate that work very, very much from everybody around this table. And I appreciate the answers you've given and I think they're important. I think I was trying to ask important questions, but more importantly, your answers were really what I was after. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Walker. Vice Chair Branscombe.
Just a quick one now, when you mentioned the reporting platform, do you have an idea when you're gonna start using that or when that's gonna take effect?
Goal, Chair, through you, the goals by November of this year to have it up and running.
Paul, you can have it. What else? All right, Constable, you're relieved from there now. Thank you, Deputy, thank you very much for that, it's appreciated. An important report and some sobering statistics in there, but good work being done by the service to address this and continue the important community engagement. So thank you very much. I will move over to item number 8 on your agenda. Executive Administration Open Drug Strategy Update Report 2506 EA04. Deputy Chief Guilford, back to you.
Thank you. And again, Chair, through you. So I just want to highlight a couple of things from this report. Number one, the work from our evidence-based policing unit to do the research into starting the report and getting a background for us to build from and develop. Also in these surveys that they did at the start of the program. So 520 surveys, and those are just from people who live, work, or own businesses in the downtown, Midtown, and Old East Village. So for them to get that kind of response from that smaller area of the city is truly incredible. From that, they were able to find some sobering statistics about how the general public feels about these areas in our downtown, Midtown, and Old East Village, where 1 in 4, 25% only feel safe walking around in the downtown during the day. 10% is all that feel safe walking around in the downtown, Midtown, Old East Village at night. And then more than half of them stating that drug and drug-related crimes, including open-air drug use, are a priority concern. So with that information, and everybody knows the project plan that we have in place. It's our foot patrol that's whose numbers have been increased from members of patrol and going out there 7 days a week, day shifts, night shifts, going out there and engaging with those members of our community, going out there and actually ensuring that they don't turn a blind eye to anything that's going up there. They're dealing with the trespass, they're dealing with the open drug use, and they're engaging with those people. And again, we, with the partnership with CMHA, when we are going to have their workers out with us again, so that we can offer those services to those members of our community to get them the help they need. And because this is not a situation where we are going to police our way out of it. It's going to take a whole community and everybody involved to get the results that we want for everybody in the city. But what has surprised me, I think, is again, over the 8-9 weeks that we've been going on here, is just the positive response that we've got from so many in our community with how much of a change there has been so far. It's been incredible. We're still a long way from where we want to be and where we want to see everything. But our foot patrol officers are doing a fantastic job out there. They should be applauded for the work that they're doing. under Staff Sergeant Sherry Baltzer and Inspector Pete Testa. Again, it's getting thrown around a lot here today. That's awesome. So, yeah, just incredible. That's being work that's being done right now. And I hope that all of our updates that we bring to this board end up being as public.
Well, thank you, Deputy Guilford, and Inspector Dan, thank you for the comprehensive report. Again, very appreciated. I think it was very clear and very well put together. Just before I go to my colleagues for any comments or questions on this, Chief, I just wanted to see if you had anything that you wanted to add since you did launch this strategy publicly. Just wonder if you wanted to put in anything as well.
For Chair, and thank you. And I echo Deputy Chief Guilford's comments. Significant work being done by everyone he's mentioned. Our members are out there and they believe in this. And remember, this was driven from the community. These are from community complaints and community concerns. And I will highlight, since the strategy has been implemented, that is 24, on average, 24 calls a day that is happening in Old East Village, Midtown, and downtown. These are 24 calls for service to the community directly responded to by our foot patrol members. On average, it is working out to 10 seizures a day. So although we are not looking to arrest our way out of this, I will tell you that we are taking a very serious approach on this. And if the public safety is being compromised and it's impacting the greater community at large where open drug use is occurring, our officers will be engaging and they will arrest when appropriate. So although you only see 11 charges in this short time frame, that speaks to our officers aren't looking to arrest their way out of it. They're not looking to lay charges as a first resort, but they will lay charges. And I'll also say that the greater impact that's happening in our community is that there are individuals exploiting the vulnerable. And our foot patrol officers are there. And they are also, during those encounters, they're not just interacting with substance use individuals who are using drugs. They're interacting with potential and street level drug dealers as well. And they have some occurrences where that has happened, where they've interacted with individuals at the street level that are trafficking drugs and exploiting our community. So all positive stuff for us. And I have to applaud everybody involved, especially Staff Sergeant Baltzer, who's at the helm of this on a daily basis, and Lindsay Ryan, who's developed this plan for evidence-based policing. So we do have a video that we intend to share, and that'll be rolled out as well if we can get that going.
Yep.
Right now?
So we'll watch the video and then I'll come to any comments or questions from the board.
Sure, yes, so if I can continue, so you'll see the open air substance use strategy. You'll see sort of a trend in the last little bit where our commitment to the community and the commitment to the board about being transparent with all of our police activities is a priority for us. So you see this video is really not to showcase, hey, look at us, but it's to showcase and share with the community exactly what we're doing to address the concerns that the community has raised. So beyond this video, you'll notice in the last little while, we're communicating much more and openly and transparent with the community as possible. So that is a direct result for your awareness of the leadership of Superintendent Cherney and Acting Inspector Dave Gooden and his staff who are really pushing corporate comms to another level.
And I'll look to the board here. I just will say on the corporate loans piece, I have to say that it's been exceptional. The information that's being put out there and how it's being presented and how accessible it is. And I just want to tease out a point that you said there about transparency, because the board's committed to transparency and you as chief are committed to it as well. So they dovetail together. So I think getting that out there, showing people the reductions, even though sometimes small, and addressing problems when they arise with initiatives is great as well. So, a big thank you to your team, and if we can accelerate that and get even more information out, hey, I think that's absolutely fantastic. So I'll look to my colleagues, Member Morgan.
Yeah, safety things on this. But first off, I really appreciate the work that our foot patrol officers, as well as those within the CMHA and the others who are supporting this work. I really appreciate the kind of the frontline work they're doing, because it's obviously very difficult. This has been something that has been, relatively ignored for a long time, and it's probably a bit of a shock to people that they're getting engaged now. And not only that, but they're having, seizures take place, possibilities of referrals occur as well. So I get that this is probably very difficult work and it continues to evolve. And so I just want to say I really appreciate the work that the frontline agencies are doing. I also think that there's a really critical piece to this on the referral side. And I know that there'll be more data coming, but I think we need to continue to drive, and certainly I'll support that with all the hats that I have. Agencies and partners who are willing to assist with the referral piece, right? Like if we're not going to rest our way out of these sorts of problems, we're going to need places and partners and care for those who are not criminals, but addicted to dangerous substances, who actually need to go somewhere to get help and treatment and along the path of recovery. So I think there's obviously going to be a continued evolution and work on that side of things. But I think the strategy as it's shaping up right now is very positive, and I can echo what's been said in the video. The feedback that I'm getting in my office with my other hat on, not my member of the police board hat, but from the mayor's office, is very positive, right? People are noticing a difference. They're feeling a difference. People are saying to me they feel safer on the streets, and they like the presence of officers and mental health workers that they're engaging and being present and actually seeing the interactions with people who are openly using drugs, and then seeing that is evolving and decreasing. So again, I know there's lots of work to go. I know that this is one of the very early reports that we have, but it's certainly moving in a very positive direction. And I think we need to rally more community partners to the table to ensure that we can ensure that we're well supported on the community side of things as well. It's not just a policing issue on this. So thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Member Morgan. Member Lance.
Yeah, a couple takeaways. I just, seeing the results of the survey and how people are feeling about, their safety, essentially downtown has been focused downtown. And then marrying it up with the comments that were on that video in such a short time. And, member express it coincides with what he's hearing. I'll echo that. It's what I'm hearing as a counselor and representative in my dealings in the public. So public safety, one, we're improving that, which is why we're here, right? The other thing is seeing the amount of fentanyl that's being removed from the streets. Fentanyl is like a lethal weapon out there. And it's killing people. And arguably one of the more lethal drugs, illegal drugs, being used right now. So that's safety for those, enforcement that are using. I believe it's in their safety as well. And the third thing, Chief, and then I was wondering about that before you mentioned, I was wondering how eventually we want to get to those that are preying on those folks that are using, right? Those that are distributing illegal narcotics, that are harming our society. So I was pleased to hear that it increased, that was your engagement in finding increased arrests or intelligence that leads you to the arrests of those that are, as you said, preying on those folks that are out there, because I think that's a great analogy to it. And I've always been concerned about that community that's taking advantage of these folks that are part of the using community as well. So we're off to a great start. This has only been what a short time, and the results are pretty astounding, quite frankly, that this is what we've seen so far. So great work, and look forward to seeing this word get out, because from the comments in the video, people are living and working down here. They're seeing it. I want that to get out to my ward outside downtown. Downtown's changing, and it because of the great work that you and your team are doing. And I want to see people coming back downtown and go against perception maybe that might be out there.
Thank you, Member Lamy. Other comments? Don't indulge me for everyone. I'll just echo what both my colleagues said. I thought, to Member Lehman's point about fentanyl, what was particularly alarming was of the 540 occurrences in which a seizure took place, suspected fentanyl, including trace amounts of residue or seized paraphernalia, was seized in 507 occasions. I'm not great at math, but that's roughly 94%. So that's a big concern. And it's definitely showing that we're making significant progress. This is a weapon. This is a lethal weapon, as you rightly put it, Member Lehman. And it's definitely a concern. So this program is working, and the community engagement piece and the referral piece, as Member Morgan had particularly put as well, is so important, because we will not arrest our way out of this. I know there was some concern that was what this program was going to be about, and I think now that, as they say, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. And I'll just end with page 3 of your report and the community impact. I'll just read 2 of the quotes that I found quite pointed. At a time when we often feel overlooked, this program reminds us that we are not alone, that partnerships and people still matter. We are deeply grateful for the commitment and care shown by our foot patrol officers every day. And another one, we have a great relationship with your officers, and the response time is very good. We understand that your officers are extremely busy with the Corps and OEB, and many of our struggles are due to a societal issue. So these, at the end of the day, remember, these are people. These are people, brothers and sisters and kids. And so the lens that has been put on this, the compassion that has been shown to addressing a problem that needs to be addressed to make people feel safe in the community, but not just solely focused on that, but also how do we make this a better city? How do we get people referred into treatment and care and get off these substances? I think is quite great. And I did want to, just on a personal note, mention too, I've been out with Foot Patrol twice since I joined this board on walk-alongs, and most recently just around Christmas time. And you can see, even from then till now, when I work downtown, the marked improvement. And so I know there's still a lot of work to do. This is just the beginning, but thank you for this, and I look forward to future regular updates on this matter. So one last look, my colleagues. Okay, seeing none, we will receive that report, and we will move into verbal updates. Myself, I will be quick. I attended the last week the OACSP conference or 2 weeks ago. And I gotta admit, everything's a bit of a blur since I've taken over as chair. I'm still trying to kind of tread water, myself, along with the chief, we presented to the OAPSB conference on police governance and about the transformation that's happening here at LPS. And that was a conference for police boards from across Ontario, delegates from large cities, mid-sized communities, OPP detachments, First Nations communities as well, and their police service boards. And I thought it was many of my colleagues attended as well, and we were the host city this year. I thought it was a great conference, and I thank the chief for taking time out to provide the operational context of our speech. Well, I spoke about the governance, and this was agreed to before I was chair, so I kind of got thrown up on stage there and stumbled through it. But I wanted to really thank our executive director as well, who put a lot of work into showcasing the great work that this board and the service has done, and talking about the challenges that we're also going to face ahead. You know, we always talk about the progress that's being made, but there's still a lot of work, and we are very, very cognizant of that. I also wanted to, and I'm sure the chief is going to speak about this a little bit, so I won't steal too much of his thunder, but we have the Special Olympics of Ontario kickoff for the games that will be happening in 2026, the school games. I was joined by Vice Chair Branscombe, Member Stevenson, and the Executive Director as well as a different hat, but he was Mayor Morgan that day. But I think we'll all agree that it was quite an inspiring opening ceremonies. It was great to see Val and the Chief carrying the flame, and we look forward to hosting them in 2026 at Western. And it's really, really great. And again, thanks to the Chief for working to ensure that the games come to London, and for getting the LPS involved, because in Ontario, it's the only region where every games is associated with the police service as well. They were talking about, and I think that's quite powerful, that bond between the Special Olympians and the police service as to where the games are taking place. So I'll let the chief speak more about that later. I also wanted to mention that the chief, myself, and some of his command also attended the Eid celebration that took place recently at the Western Fair District. So we thank the community for welcoming us and for celebrating with them on such an important occasion. And that's all I have for my updates. I'll turn it over to our executive director for anything that should be.
I mean, I really poured all of my updates into that report. So I think that pretty much says it all. And then I was going to do the website now, but so I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, just a few verbal updates. The Special Olympics school championships that we'll be hosting next year. I just want to thank yourself, the vice chair, and Member Stevenson, who came along with the ED, for taking the time out of your day to support the kickoff, and acknowledge Special Olympics for trusting on us to host and support. And a special shout out to Dr. Alan Shepard from Western, who was just a phone call I took to get him to support. So we're really excited. It's a great event. It's a great event for all the athletes, and it really is about communities. And I just want to say very quickly, this isn't the first time we're supporting the Special Olympics. There's been years and years, and there's so many great members in our organization who have been supporting the Special Olympics long before I got here. Bill Merrilees is one of them. He's a longtime supporter. Dave Payette, Michelle Serpa, and Sarah Mayles continually drive the law enforcement torch run in the polar plunge. So we have a lot of members in our organization that really believe in the Special Olympics and supporting individuals. So excited about next year. There's going to be some work to be done, and we're not afraid of that. Just to share with the board, it's the first time we invited and our senior leadership team, all senior leadership team, attended the London Muslim Mosque, and we spent the day there, the morning there, with the imams who welcomed us in. There was a ton of kids in class throughout the day, and it was very impactful for all of us who attended because we got to learn with the community. And more importantly, as you see the importance of community trust, with you just look at the hate crimes that are occurring. London is a little bit unique amongst communities because we had that tragic incident, tragedy with the London family. And we've had a number of horrific things that happened in this community that have impacted the Muslim community. So it's very important for us that we continue to support not only the Muslim community, but all communities. But specifically, we need to make sure that there's efforts there and that we support the mayor and the city with combating anti-Muslim hate and Islamophobia. So we're very happy about that day because it's the first time our entire senior leadership was there. The next course for us is we're making arrangements for us to spend the day with Jewish London as well. So there's lots of work that continues to be done, but I wanted to share with the board. And for us, it's cultural competence training and making us better leaders with the community. This Sunday, it's the suicide memorial that's going to take place in Toronto. Very significant event for all Ontario police officers, but it's very special for us because Walter Berry was a former member of the London Police Service many years ago. He is going to be recognized and his name is going to be inscribed on the honor roll, recognizing that he had died because of the line of duty. So we will all be there as much as we can, but we'll have a good showing there. So sharing with the board for your awareness. And then obviously this month we raised the pride flag here at headquarters, which is our commitment to supporting our members who identify with the community as well as the greater community as well. And if we're talking about fentanyl, just reminding the board that the great work from our guns and gangs under the leadership of John Minen, Inspector Jen Noel, and Superintendent Paul Reynolds, largest fentanyl seizure in London history and one of the largest in Canada. So we are tackling this drug and opioid crisis at the street level and at the high level and the organized crime level. So some great work being done all around our organization. I've committed to Devin Peacock to try and connect with him on a monthly basis. The mayor already does that. I think you do that every week or every 2 weeks, sir.
Every Monday morning. It's a great way to get up in the morning, Monday. Get grilled with questions.
So I've committed to monthly with Devin. Again, it's part of making sure that we inform the community of all things policing, which is really good. And then I just wanted to highlight two incidents of some incredible work from our members again. So recently we had a hate motivated incident where a elderly lady was taking out the trash. Yeah, or may or may not be aware of this, but she was taking out the garbage early in the morning. We had an individual suspect come by, tried to spit on her and made some racial comments to her. The work of our members, they operated very quickly. UD, our community services, we Constable Syed, I don't know if he's still here, and Sergeant Zabian's team responded quickly, right? So our uniform officers, it was a very appropriate and significant response. Obviously, the Muslim community was deeply impacted by that, but within, I think, a week, less than a week, the individual was identified and arrested. So some great work, and just wanted to just to give the board, there's a lot of people involved, but some key people: Amanda Aylesworth, Sergeant Hardman, Constable McIntyre, Constable Stewart, Constable Sangeeta, as you know, and Constable Baker. Very instrumental in responding quickly and appropriately. So some great work there. Wanted to highlight one more incident for the board to to share in some of the great work that's happening. So again, an individual in the community steals a car, steals a Jeep, gets involved with a female, points a firearm at her, and very serious incident that happens in our city. Ultimately, what happens is he operates a stolen vehicle, chase ends up into a foot chase, and our officers respond to a very serious incident. And with canine support, we make the arrest. Again, highly dangerous individual victimizing the community and highlighting our officers are out there in the community, connecting with youth, connecting with marginalized communities, connecting with people on the street, building trust. And at the same time, our officers are out there running towards danger, dealing with individuals that are victimizing this community. So I just want to give a special shout out to Constable Granger, Constable Maya, and Constable Boom. Those last two were from our emergency response unit who we rely upon. And Constable Howes, Detective Dylan Van Bellingham, and Constable Haler from K9. Some great, great work, a highlight of the work that's happening all year long, every day. So subject to any questions, that is the chief's verbal to the board.
Colleagues?
Quite the update. Thank you.
All right, seeing none, I'll move into new business and the CAPG conference nomination. So maybe I'll turn it over to Executive Director Johannes just to give some context to that on that.
So the Canadian Association of Police Governance is the association that is for boards across Canada. And in August, they're having their annual conference and AGM, and where they vote in to fill in empty spaces on that board. There currently is one empty space for an Ontario board to join. And there are other candidates from Ontario that will be putting their name forward, but with the board's blessing, we are able to put forward one of our own as well, to potentially sit on that board. And it's a really important role because it's sort of bringing London into the national level in terms of, you know, being in communication with boards all across the country. So if the board agrees, I don't know if there's any.
Yeah, I'd like to move that we nominate Chair Goss be our representative from London at that meeting.
I'll just roll out for a second.
The motion so that we have nominate one of our board members to put forward to sit on the board of the CAPG.
We're going to nominate.
So she moved it, so you'll have to ask for a seconder.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Then you have to ask for any other questions.
Not very good at this one. Okay. I sat at hundreds of board meetings. I just, yeah, anybody else? Any other nominations? Okay, one question?
All in favor?
All in favor? Okay, any opposed?
I have to give like this.
Now you can share it. There you go. All right. Well, thank you on that. I appreciate it. Sure. And I just have been told that Chief Trong has one more update, so I'll go back to you, Chief.
Thank you.
We'll call it new business.
Thank you. I forgot to share with the board. It's a very important thing that happened. That we hosted for the very first time citizenship ceremony swearing in of newcomers here at the London Police Service. Has never happened before. So Judge Albert Wong came, held the ceremony here. The deputy chiefs were all in attendance. A number of our senior leadership team were here. And I'll let Deputy Chief McSween just speak very quickly about that experience and the number of newcomers that we were here for.
I wasn't expecting to speak, but I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but there are times in your career where you get involved in things that leave a lasting impression. And being the daughter of an immigrant to this country, I wasn't born when my dad and my mom came here. So to sit on the other side and see members of our community come and now become Canadian citizens, it was an absolutely amazing day. I think Deputy Guilford would agree that the strength is in the people that live here in London, and that was on full display. So Judge Wong did an amazing job. I could listen to him all day long, talking about his experiences, and then just an inclusive environment, no matter where you came from, what your beliefs are, that you are now a member of us and this is a family. So I think the chief and I believe it was the chief deputy Guilford, who brought the idea forward to hosting it here. It left an impression on just not the membership, but obviously the community that was there as well. So.
Thank you, Chief, and I'll say as someone whose day job, which after 10 years will no longer be my day job next month, I'll be moving out of politics, but I'll say that the most powerful moments in that job have been citizenship ceremonies. You really helped us put things into perspective. So thank you for doing that, Chief, and to everyone that was involved, Deputy as well.
I'll move it.
With the, I'll move a motion that the London Police Service Board adjourn the July 19, 2025 open meeting, moved by Member Branscombe, seconded by Member Lehman. Anyone opposed? That's carried. Thank you very much, everyone, and we're adjourned at 3:06 p.m. That's already important.